Senator Sherrod Brown stopped in Cincinnati today as well to talk vaccination and the American Rescue Plan.
The first round of 2 rounds of the federal funding will be dispersed next week. Cincinnati expects to get right around $300 million in total.
Now, some of that the city allocated this week. And as our Marielle Carbone reports, more will go toward paying down the city's budget deficit than originally expected.
Well, a lot of nonprofits and local organizations have been lobbying City Hall for some of this federal funding, but bottom line is remote working will have a big impact on the city's tax base, which means most of this money will go towards shoring up the city's budget over the next 2 years.
I've said this from the beginning, this is not a transformative amount of money. It is a restorative amount of money.
And that's exactly what Councilmember Steve Gooden says it will do.
Next year, and I think that is absolutely the right thing to do.
Earlier this week, the city allocated out about $134 million from the American Rescue Plan. And while some is going to grants for the arts or local businesses, a majority of that, $107 million, will go to filling the budget deficit or added to the budget reserves because
as remote working takes hold post-COVID, not everyone is going to come back to the office, and we won't be able to tax them over time. It's going to be a very slow bleed.
The earnings tax funds the city's budget and can only be collected from people working within city limits. During the pandemic, Governor Mike DeWine passed an emergency order allowing cities to collect the tax from people who work remotely for city companies but live outside of city limits. But that will eventually lift, and if people don't return to work downtown, the tax revenue will be lost. Because of that, the University of Cincinnati Economics Center predicts the city will lose about $34 million worth of income tax in 2022, putting the city's deficit next year at a projected $67 million.
And we don't know yet exactly what that is going to do to reduce our earnings tax, but it's going to be significant, which is why it was so important to put the vast majority of the money into reserves and savings.
Mayor John Cranley says despite adjusting for the expected tax loss, local stimulus is still happening.
We were able to rush help to social service organizations, art organizations, restaurants, small businesses, and we're going to be doing some more of that.
And the city will meet for a special meeting on Tuesday to discuss these funds further. That's the same day the first round of funding should be dispersed from the federal government. Reporting from City Hall, I'm Marielle Carbone, WCPO 9 News.